नमस्कार, मैं डॉक्टर सत्य प्रकाश सिंह, डायरेक्टर सिटी स्कूल ऑफ फार्मेसी। आज हम पढ़ेंगे यूनिट 2 का चैप्टर 2 के बारे में, दैट इज़ एवापोरेशन। इस लेक्चर में हम जानेंगे एवापोरेशन के ऑब्जेक्टिव्स, एप्लीकेशन और डिफरेंट फैक्टर्स अफेक्टिंग एवापोरेशन along with two evaporators which are used for evaporation processes. Now evaporation, what is evaporation? Evaporation क्या है? Theoretically evaporation, when we hear the term evaporation, it comes in our mind that something is evaporating or vaporizing from the surface of liquid. So evaporation is basically vaporization from the surface of liquids. It is a unit operation process by which a solvent is evaporated from a solution by boiling the liquor in a vessel, and since the liquor is boiling in the vessel, vapor is withdrawing from it and leaving behind a concentrated liquid residue. Okay. So, in case of evaporation, we are getting concentrated product as a residue. Objective of evaporation is, since liquid is evaporating from the converted into vapors and it is evaporating from the surface of liquid. So, the product which we are getting is as a concentrated form. So, the main objective of evaporation is to make a solution more concentrated. In the majority of cases, evaporation refers to the removal of water from an aqueous solution. Okay. Now, there are many other heat processes which resembles somewhat similar to evaporation. So, in this section we will study about the difference between evaporation and other heat processes. So, first point is, in case of evaporation, our primary aim is to get a concentrated liquid. So, the residue is a concentrated liquid in case of evaporation, that means final product is concentrated liquid. But in case of drying, it is also a type of unit operation process, the final product is solid, or we can say that residue is solid. Now, the second difference is, in case of evaporating liquid is only one component in most of the cases. So, in evaporation the evaporating liquid is single or one component, but whereas in distillation it is a mixture of, or we can say that combination of two or more components. Okay. So, the evaporating liquid is combination of two or more components. In case of evaporation, what happens? There isn't any attempt, that means no attempt is taken to separate the mixture of vapor. If the evaporating liquid is a mixture of different components, then in case of evaporation no attempt is made to separate those components, whereas in case of distillation it is compulsory to separate each component. Okay. Now, the evaporation, it leads to concentrated products, but not crystals. Okay. Means in case of evaporation we are getting final product as a concentrated product, but no crystals are formed, whereas in case of crystallization our main aim is to form a crystals, that is the purpose is to get crystals by concentrating the product. So, this is the basic difference between evaporation and other heat processes. Now, applications of evaporation. what are the various applications that evaporation can apply. First one is evaporation, or we can say that principle of evaporation can be used in the manufacturing of bulk drugs. So, in case of pharmaceutical purposes, preparation of bulk drugs or manufacturing of bulk drugs can be done by applying the principle of evaporation. Second point is manufacture of biological products. It is also used in the manufacture of biological products like insulin, enzymes and some other products. Third point is it also used in the preparation of blood products. What? Blood products, for example, blood plasma and serum. So, these are some examples of blood products in which the principle of evaporation is used for its preparation. Now, principle of evaporation is also used to get demineralized water after condensation. It means after the condensation process is over, we can get demineralized water by applying this principle of evaporation. It can prepare the product for next for other unit operation processes like drying. Since in case of drying we are getting solid product as a product. So, with the help of evaporation, at first we can concentrate the product by evaporating the liquids, and then we can go for drying, so that the final product will be a dried solid. Next application is improve the product storage life. Since moisture is removed from the products, or we can say that less moisture is present in the products. So, in those cases the product shelf life or product storage life is increased. It decreases the microbial growth. The impact of microbial growth can be decreased by if it is a evaporated product, or by evaporation, by applying the principle of evaporation can decrease the impact of microbial growth in final products. Now, the next topic is factors affecting evaporation. What are the different factors on which evaporation depends? So, before going to the different factors affecting evaporation, let us have a look on a equation, that is m is equal to K s by P into B minus B dash, where m is mass of vapor formed per unit time, that is a unit is meter cube per second. So, it is also called as rate of evaporation or rate, mass of vapor formed per unit time. S is surface area of liquid exposed, surface area is directly proportional to m. P is the atmospheric pressure, that is measured in K Pascal. So, P is inversely proportional to this rate, K is the proportionality constant, B maximum vapor pressure at temperature of air, B dash is pressure due to vapor of liquid present in air. So, these are the different terms which is used in this equation. Basing on this equation, we can derive the different factors on which evaporation depends. So, first is temperature. As you know, we know that temperature is directly proportional to the rate of evaporation. As soon as temperature is increased, rate of evaporation also increases. Second factor is temperature and time of evaporation. So, temperature as well as time of evaporation also plays an important role. How? Since temperature, if you are exposing a substance at higher temperature for lower duration, it is much more beneficial than if you are exposing a product or substance to a lower temperature and time of evaporation is more. Because if a substance is exposed for a longer duration of time, then active principle may get decomposed due to this longer duration of time of exposure of the product. So, it is always beneficial to have a product with lower exposure time at higher temperature. It destroys or disturbs the less leads to lesser decomposition of the product. Third point is temperature and moisture content. Some drug constituents decompose more rapidly in the presence of moisture, especially at a raised temperature. Why? Because of due to the presence of moisture, hydrolysis may take place, which leads to decomposition of the product. Hence, evaporation should be carried out at low controlled temperature, although the final drying can be done at higher temperatures when little moisture is present. So, moisture content, time of evaporation along with temperature plays an important role in case of evaporation. Vapor pressure. Vapor pressure is as from the equation it is evident that vapor pressure is inversely proportional to the rate. So, if the value of vapor pressure is low, then rate of evaporation will be higher. Surface area. Surface area it is directly proportional to rate of evaporation. If surface area increases, then rate of evaporation also increases. Economic factor, it also plays an important role, since cost of the product is much more important. So, while determining the evaporator, what are the because the final product which we are getting, what will be the cost. So, time of exposure, evaporator and raw material cost, whereas all other costs should be included in case of determining the so economic factor also plays an important role. Now, last one is type of product required. Evaporating pans or still, that means depending upon the evaporators, different evaporators used for evaporation, the product type also plays an important role. Since evaporating pan or stills produces liquid or dry products, but film evaporators will yield only liquid products. So, what happens, dilute extract can be first concentrated in a film evaporator, then it can be the concentrated extract may be dried by using evaporating pan if you want a dried product. Okay. Now, classification of evaporators, simply if you will see that evaporators are classified into 3 categories depending upon the type of movement occurs in evaporator. So, first one is natural circulation evaporators, next is forced circulation evaporators, and the third one is film evaporators. Okay. So, these are the according to movement of evaporators, it can be classified into 3 categories. There are other classification of evaporators are also there, that is jacketed system of evaporators, short tube evaporators, long tube evaporators, and finally film evaporators, like that. Steam jacketed kettle, the simplest evaporator which we are using, that is steam jacketed kettle. That means, as you see in the diagram, it is a hemispherical bowl system which is having a jacket. So, the principle behind the working of this steam jacketed kettle is, it is used as a source of, in this case steam is used as a source of heat, and conduction and conduction are the possible mechanism of working, possible mechanism for working of this evaporators. Construction, how the evaporator is constructed. This evaporator consists of a hemispherical or shallow pan. As I have explained earlier, from the diagram it is evident that the steam jacketed kettle is a hemispherical object. Okay. It is the material which can be used for the construction of this kettle is copper or stainless steel, and this evaporator, it is jacketed. This is a hemispherical evaporator, it is jacketed. In this jacket steam is filled. So, this kettle is surrounded by a steam jacket. Now, working of this evaporator, dilute solution is taken into the pan. In this pan, here you have to fill the liquid or dilute solution which you want to get it into concentrated product or which wants to be evaporated, and after filling the dilute solution in this container, steam is introduced into this jacket, that is steam jacket. Okay. So, steam is introduced through the steam inlet, and a point is there for air vent. That means, uncondensed steam can be taken out from this air vent, and condensate or steam after condensation, it can be collected from this outlet. Okay. So, steam is introduced into this jacket, and this steam is used as a source for evaporation. So, in this evaporator, since it is a hemispherical bowl system and dilute liquid is kept into this evaporator. So, here the possible movement of liquid results in the convection currents which are set up by the heating process. So, after heating for a certain period of time, the liquid gets evaporated and concentrated product is achieved, and it can be collected from the product outlet, okay, from the bottom of the evaporator. Advantages of this steam jacketed kettle is, it is a simple and cheap to construct. The equipment is very simple, construction of this equipment is also simple, and it is cheaper. It can be used, it is very easy to use for cleaning and maintaining also. Steering the contents and removal of the product is easy. Okay. In this case, if you want to steer the product by mechanical means, that also leads to the increase in rate of evaporation, that steering of contents is easy, and the product can also be collected very easily from this type of evaporators. Disadvantages, it is not suitable for heat sensitive materials due to long time of exposure. In this case, heating area decreases as the since it is a hemispherical bowl. So, at starting point the area is large. As soon as it evaporation process is carried on, the products liquid gets evaporated and products gets concentrated. So, the area also decreases as the product gets concentrated. Boiling point of water cannot be reduced, since reduced pressure cannot be created in open type of evaporators. Now, the next evaporator is horizontal tube evaporator. Okay. In this case also, steam is used as a source of heat and it is passed through the horizontal tubes. That is why this evaporator is called as steam jacketed evaporators. These are the horizontal tubes through which steam is introduced, is immersed in a pool of liquid to be evaporated. This is this evaporator is made up of cast iron or steel plate is used to prepare this evaporator. Size of evaporator is 1.8 to 2.4 meter in diameter. It has 2.4 to 3.6 meter is the height of the evaporator. This evaporator, as you see in the diagram, it consists of a large cylindrical body with conical or dome shaped top and bottom. Okay. In this evaporator, as you see, there is a point for solvent vapor. These are the vapors. This is called as body. Here is a vent for outlet of steam. This is the inlet for steam. From this bottom point, condensate can be collected. Liquid is filled into this evaporator, and from the bottom of the evaporator, concentrated product can be collected as a final product. Okay. Now, working of this horizontal tube evaporator, how it works. As the diagram is there, you see here is a point for feed inlet. Okay. From this point, the liquid feed is introduced into this evaporator. Okay. Since the liquid feed is introduced, it is filled into this evaporator, and these are the horizontal tubes. Okay. Or we can say that in this horizontal tubes, from this point, steam inlet point, steam is introduced. Okay. So, as the steam is introduced into through these horizontal tubes, this steam acts as a source of heat. So, from this source of heat, the liquid gets heated. Feed inlet, what is the quantity of liquid that is filled into the this evaporator? In this case, feed is introduced into the evaporator until the steam compartment is immersed. Okay. So, the liquid is filled above this horizontal tubes, or liquid is filled in such a way that this horizontal tubes are fully immersed in the liquid. Okay. As soon as steam is introduced into this horizontal tubes, liquid gets the heat from this horizontal tube and it starts evaporating. Okay. As the liquid gets heated and horizontal tubes receives the heat and conduct it to the liquid, or you can say that horizontal tube, after receiving the heat, it transfers the heat to the liquid. The feed absorbs heat and solvent gets evaporated. Okay. So, as soon as heat is transferred to this solvent or this solution or to feed, and evaporation starts. So, these are the vapors which is produced due to absorption of heat from the horizontal tubes by this liquid. So, liquid gets evaporated. As the liquid gets evaporated, the vapors which are formed, it can be collected through this outlet, that is solvent vapor outlet. Okay. It can be collected and gets condensed. The condensate or the condensed steam are collected through this condensate outlet from this evaporator. If some part of steam is not condensed, then it can be taken out through this vent. So, as soon as the liquid is evaporating from this evaporator, and it starts getting concentrated, the product is starts getting concentrated. As all the product gets concentrated, it comes at the bottom of the container. So, from this opening you can get the concentrated product as a final product, or from this outlet which is situated at the bottom of the evaporator. Now, uses of this horizontal tube evaporators. These evaporators are suited for non-viscous solutions. That means, in case if viscous solution is there, then this evaporator is not suitable for use. Cascar extract can be evaporated by using this horizontal tube evaporators. So, these were the two evaporators that we are studied, that is steam jacketed kettle and horizontal tube evaporator. So, after the basic principle behind using all these evaporators evaporation is to get the concentrated product as a byproduct, or our main aim in case of evaporation is to get the concentrated product as a final product. So, for concentrating in most of the evaporators, or two evaporators which we have studied, in both the cases steam is used as a source of heat. By using that steam, heat is transferred to the feed liquid, and feed liquid gets evaporated, and we are getting final product as a concentrated product. Now, advantages of this horizontal tube evaporator: cost per square meter of heating surface is less in this case. Disadvantage, there are some disadvantages also associated with this horizontal tube evaporator. It requires large heating area, the heating area is large in this case. It is not suitable for heat sensitive materials, and it is also for crystalline products. This instrument is also not suitable. So, these are some disadvantages associated with horizontal tube evaporator. Now, so this is all about the basics of evaporation, its factors affecting evaporation, objective and principal application of evaporations. So, these are some evaporations, these are the some areas or some fields where evaporation, the principle of evaporation can be applied as a to getting the, for getting the final products. Okay. Thank you.